So welcome back to my channel. So welcome back. Welcome back. Kind of do a little dance for you. But so today I just wanted to do like an introductory video, just kind of giving like my backstory, who I am, and just the basic stuff, nothing too major. So let's get into this video. So just to be fair, I just randomly decided this video. So my shirt, I just been sitting around the house. I ain't been doing nothing. I have no makeup on. I haven't even combed my hair. I mean, it's flat iron, but I haven't combed it or anything. So, but back to this video. So I'm looking down. I don't know why I'm looking down. I had something written down, but I'm not even gonna read it. So, anyway, so I kind of just want to get like a backstory about who I am and kind of like my life, and so you all can kind of better gauge and have an idea of who I am and whatnot. If that makes sense. So I'm originally from South Carolina. I was born in Aiken. I was raised and grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I currently reside, and which I plan on hopefully, one day changing that. But anyway, so I just turned 29 on December 25th. Yes, I'm a Christmas baby. So I just turned 29, and yeah, it was all right. I'm kind of shifting when it comes to like my mindset and whatnot. So I never actually go out on my birthday. I usually always do something on New Year's because I have children. I have 3 children. Technically I would have 4 children, but one of my children passed away. So I have 3 children. I have 2 girls and a boy. My oldest is 10 and my youngest is 6 months, could be 6 months on the 17th. And my middle child, she's 1. And crazy thing is my 6-month-old and my 1-year-old, they had the same birthday. So they're both born on July the 17th, so it's crazy because people kept saying, oh, you probably gonna have this baby on her birthday, whatnot. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. I was hoping he would be born on my father's birthday, which is July the 12th, but that didn't happen. So crazy story is I was obviously celebrating my 1-year-old's birthday. She just turned 1, and was cutting the cake and whatnot, and I went to work that day, and I actually was working from home because the whole COVID thing. So after I clocked out, went and got her cake, came back, my sister, my mom, and their father was there, and we sang happy birthday, all that good stuff, and cut the cake. And I kept feeling like I was having contractions, but I have a high tolerance to pain, and it didn't dawn on me to the last minute, like to the very last minute. And so I kept them like, oh, maybe something's gonna happen today. And I told their dad that, and he's like, I don't think so. You probably just exaggerating or whatnot. I'm like, no, something's definitely going on because I feel like I'm having contractions, or I feel like I'm cramping. Mostly, I feel like I was cramping. So, long story short, we ordered pizza, and I was on the phone with my friend, and I was like, I don't feel good. I feel like I'm cramping. I think he's gonna come, and all this and that. And she was like, oh, you think he's gonna come? Baby, So as soon as we opened the door for the pizza man, like I got this contraction that was just like, it just hit. And I was like, oh, I couldn't even get the pizza. Like the refrigerator in my mom's house, like the back door, and then there's the refrigerator on this side. So like opened the door and it just hit me. And I just was like, I folded a little bit. And I had to get my older daughter to get the pizza and to grab her sister. I called my mom. I was screaming. I was like, I'm about to go to the hospital. I'm going labor. So yeah, so they both had the same birthday, July the 17th. Those are my little twins. Even though they're not technically twins, but that's how I look at it. So, so I have 3 children. Let's see, I have a bachelor's in business administration and accounting. I attended Spalding University, and let's see, I also have my real estate license. I got my real estate license. I actually was studying for my real estate license while I was getting my bachelor's, and I took the test, and I passed on the first try, which I was very happy because I don't like taking tests. I get test anxiety. I get real nervous, or I don't know, but so I passed it on the first sit down, and I'm happy about that. I got my real estate license back in 2016. When I got pregnant with my daughter, so that was 2018 when I got pregnant with her. Close to the end of my pregnancy, I put my license in escrow or inactive status, because technically they changed it to where it's inactive, and so I did that, and kind of just took a break because I felt like with me working, me being pregnant, and mind you, my oldest was 9 at the time, and it was kind of like, I felt like it was a lot to be having another baby. I didn't think it before, but at that moment, I kind of realized, like, yes, it's kind of a lot mentally to be getting ready to basically start all over again with another child. So I put my license in escrow. I actually was working with a client at the time, and I called my mentor. Actually, I was taking my mama to work, and I was in the Dairy Queen drive-through, and I just say, I'm putting my license in escrow, or I put my license in inactive status or whatever, and I just did it on my phone, because you can do everything on your phone now. So I just sit there and did it on my phone. It's like $10. So I was like, right now, I just cannot do this right now. So I put my license in escrow right there in the drive-through. I called, at the time I was on the team. So when I first came into real estate, getting my real estate license, and going into, I was actually Keller Williams. So I ended up being by myself. I didn't join any team or anything. So, I just did it by myself, and I got my first buyer client. I want to say I graduated and took the test in late July, and I affiliated with Keller Williams in August of 2016, and then I had my first buyer client by end of October, mid-October or something like that. And I did it by myself. I asked questions and whatnot to other realtors that was also in the office. So it wasn't like I did it by myself in a sense, because I definitely had people around me that I could go to and ask questions, and they were willing to help me, which is a good thing about Keller Williams, in my opinion. Because they try to make sure you, as a new agent, you're ready to go. Whether you're on a team or not, you're gonna be fine. So I got that client, and honestly, I had to, because look, I'm not even gonna get into all that, but I did it. So I was really proud. So I got my first buyer client like mid-October, probably late October, and we closed on their home beginning of December, because they wanted to be in there before, for the holidays. So it was the beginning of December. It was after Thanksgiving. It was beginning of December. So, and I tell you, when I saw my first commission check, I was like, oh, okay. That's a good thing, because I was like, oh, I was happy. I was very happy. So, and at the time I wasn't working, mind you, because I was still in school. I graduated my bachelor's in 2017. I make that face because I didn't do anything traditional in my life. Let me say this. This video's kind of gonna be all over the place, because I'm all over the place. So it's kind of gonna be a little all over the place. But anyway, so I don't do anything traditional in my life, in my opinion. You know, a lot of people don't know this. Like I said, my first child, he passed away. I had him at a young age. I was a teen mom. I had my son when I was 16. You know what I'm saying? So he ended up getting injured, and he got injured by his father. And he was 6 months. So he was 6 months. Matter of fact, it was October the 31st, Halloween. And that's probably another video I should make on that topic, but basically I had him young. I was a teen mom, you know what I'm saying? He ended up getting injured my junior year. Obviously I was 16, I was a junior in high school, and when he got injured October 31st, I didn't get to see my son because of everything that was going on until November the 1st. They would not let us see him. So that moment when I saw my son on the 1st, it was like 3 in the morning when I saw him. Mind you, he got injured on the 31st during the day. And he was with his father. I'll make another video on that topic. So once I saw him, I made a decision from that moment on that I need to be with him. And so I had my mother, I told my mama and I told my dad, I'm not going to go to school. I'm going to focus on my son. You know what I'm saying? I told my mama, you need to take me to, I went to Valley High School. For anybody who is from Louisville or lives in Louisville, you know Valley High School. So you probably know why I laughed. And so anyway, especially my age. So I told my mom, I'm like, I'm not going to school. You need to go and sign me out. So you need to go and like withdraw me or whatever. I can't even know what it's called technically. But I ended up going with her to the school, and basically I was doing my own thing. I was just had my mama there just because, you know, I wasn't emancipated or whatever it's called. No, I was still a minor, so she had to do it. Technically she had to do it, but it was really me saying, I ain't coming back here because my child needs me, all of me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not coming back here. So she did that. My son was in the hospital for 4 months. 4 months. He's in hospital for 4 months. If anybody ever remembered the ice storm we had in Louisville back in 09, that's how long he was in the hospital. It was in February. I didn't actually go home. After I did that, withdrew from school, I went back to the hospital. I stayed in the hospital with my son that whole 4 months. I stayed there. I lived there. That was my new home. You know, so I didn't actually leave the hospital until the day we had that ice storm. Like, it was the next day. So that happened. I can't remember the actual day that was. But when the ice storm happened, it happened, whatever. The next day I decided, my son was doing better. So that's what made me like, okay, well, I can go. And at the time, my mom had moved too. So my mom had moved, and I didn't even know where we lived. Like, I didn't know where my new home was. I didn't have anybody to take me home, so I had to ride the TARC. And people who don't know, the TARC is like the public transportation, it's a bus. So I got on the TARC and went home. And we had moved from Valley Station. Probably people who are not from here don't know what I'm talking about. But we moved from Valley Station to off of Indian Trail, which is out Preston, you know, here in Louisville. So I rode the TARC, didn't know where I was going. You know, I'm just following, but doing what my mama told me to do to get home. So, you know, I went home for the first time in February, and my son got discharged shortly after. That was the only reason why I went home. You know, maybe one day I'm in a better place, but I'll kind of do a video to kind of go more in depth into that situation. But it's like I said, I never did anything traditional, so I withdrew from school, and my son got out of hospital in February. I ended up telling my mom I'm going back to school, obviously, because I had plans. You know, so I had plans to go to college and stuff. So, which I ended up going to college. College, obviously, like I said earlier. So it was never not something that wasn't gonna happen. But I definitely, you know, family first. You know what I'm saying? So my son got discharged from the hospital, and I was still 16. No, I was 16. I was 17. Yeah, I was 17. I had turned 17. So I ended up enrolling into Liberty. That's that's an alternative school. So I ended up going to Liberty because I was going to go back to Valley, and they were trying to tell me I had to basically do my whole junior year over. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I went to Liberty. I knew about Liberty because my oldest sister went to Liberty and some of her friends, and basically I knew what it was I was getting myself into. So I ended up enrolled to Liberty. You know, I pretty much told my mom, like, my daddy, like, this is what I'm gonna do, you know, blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, while I was in the hospital with my son, I had a social worker that worked with us. She worked with my son and whatnot, and she worked with me, so I made sure I had got my resources and whatnot, and make sure I was informed and all that. So she came to me one time and was like, you know, why don't you just, you already withdrew from school, why don't you just go take your GED and go on to college? I was like, I don't do nothing traditional. I don't do anything traditional. But because I'm so hard-headed, I said, no, I want to do it the right way. So I ended up not taking that route. Y'all, like, I just literally got up and just decided to make this video. So I don't have anything. Caseworker that was in the hospital that was assigned to me and my son, and she basically made sure that, you know, we got the resources that we need and stayed informed and whatnot. So I had this caseworker. While I was in the hospital with my son, she came to me, put me aside, and was like, you already withdrew from school, so why don't you just go ahead and you know, do your GED and go to college. You know, have your mother sign over your rights or whatever. It was emancipated or whatever. So I was like, I said earlier in the video, I don't do nothing. I think I had to learn this, because then I didn't realize this. I thought I was so traditional and whatever. So no, I'm not. So I was like, no, you know, I want to do it the right way. I want to go and finish and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't take that route then. So I ended up going to Liberty, and, you know, I was there, and I was like, well, the whole time I was at Liberty, I was like, why the fuck, sorry. I was like, why am I here? I was like, why am I here? Like, why am I here? I don't get it. I don't understand what I'm doing. It just, I was way past Liberty. You know what I'm saying? I was way past the high school mentality. I had a child, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had a child that was disabled. I was going through family court. I was going through, you know, criminal court. I was going through a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up doing what I should in the first place. Well, let me take it back. So I was 17, and while I was at Liberty, I ended up getting a job, my first job. And it was at Wendy's.
You guys, my first job was actually Arby's. I think I said Wendy's because my children and I had just finished eating some Wendy's. So, yeah.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but my dad took care of the household, and he didn't live in the same household as us. He had his own separate household with my stepmother and my little sisters, and but he still maintained our household too. And so I really didn't have to go to work, but I wanted to be independent. I wanted my own money. I didn't want to have to you know, ask my daddy or wait for my daddy to give me some money, which I still want that too, but but I want my money too, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want my own money and his money. So anyway, so I ended up getting a job, my first job. I ended up meeting my oldest daughter, her father, on my way to work one day. And yeah, you know. We was just, you know, it was nice to have somebody, you know, it was nice to have somebody he was like a good friend. That wasn't a friend, you know, that kind of friend anyways, but he was like somebody to kind of take away everything I was going through, that I wasn't really accepting that I was going through at home, as far as how my life changed so drastically. Not only did it change so drastically with me getting pregnant at 16, but it also changed so drastically with my son getting injured, me having to go through all these, you know, court cases and whatnot, and, you know, withdrawing from school, and, you know, my life just changed, you know what I'm saying, in a way that I did not see coming. Like, I never would have thought, you know, my life would change in that way. And he was, you know, he was nice. He was a good guy. He was good for what he was good for at that time, which was to kind of take me away from my reality. And he did that. You know, he would take me out to eat, take me to movies. I was 17. You know what I'm saying? So he was older. He was like 20. He was like 20. Yeah, he was 20. So yeah, that's not good. But that's the honest truth. You know, so anyways, that's messed up, but it's the truth. So but you gotta think, damn, that's bad. But you gotta think, I was in a different mind state. I was not like a regular 17-year-old. Anyways, that's another story. So, basically, you know, this is the honest truth, y'all. So, some of y'all ain't gonna like it, but it ain't your truth, you know, so it's my truth. You ain't gotta like it, you ain't gotta love it. I don't always love it, but it's the real, it's the reality. It's hard, it's raw, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I bring, that's what I want to bring, that's what I want to bring to this channel, you know what I'm saying? So, whether somebody like it or not. But anyways, back to this. So, anyways, I ended up, outside of that, I ended up withdrawing from Liberty. I ended up having another child. That's where I was going with that. That's one reason why I brought that up, is because my oldest daughter ended up being conceived from that relationship. And it was a short while after we met. I ended up being pregnant and, you know, conceiving my daughter and having her in August. She's born in August. She's an August baby. And she's a Leo. She's dramatic. But, and I'm a Capricorn, so I'm definitely not that dramatic. But, so yeah, so I ended up having my oldest daughter when I was 18. So I got pregnant at 17, had her at 18. The end of my 17, and had her at 18. And probably a little before I turned 19, yeah, because she's born in August, my birthday's in December. And so yeah, I had her. And in the midst of that, I ended up with so much family stuff going on. Things were just changing. Things were just changing so much around me. Like, obviously, I said before, my mother and my father were not together, and she ended up dating somebody, which ended up being her husband. And I didn't care for my stepfather. It's crazy that I even say he's my stepfather, because I did not care for him immediately. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm the type, if I don't care for you, you're gonna know it. You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't care for him at all. and he rubbed me the wrong way, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up moving out of my mom's house at 18. My daughter's father co-signed for me to get my first apartment because they were like, no, we don't give you an apartment, you're 18, you ain't never had nothing. So he co-signed. He was 21. They said you have to be 21 anyways. So he co-signed. He never lived there. We never lived together. But he co-signed, or he put his name first. And then I was on the lease too, but it was technically his apartment because he was 21 and whatnot. So he did that, and I moved out of my mama's house. There was just too much going on. I feel like it was too not enough room for everybody, and I was outgrowing that space because I had kids. You know, it's time for me to. It was technically, in a sense, time for me to have my own space, but if I could have did something different or did things different, I would probably stay a little bit longer instead of being in feelings towards my stepfather. So anyway, so I ended up. Back to what I was saying about the casework. I know that I'm all over the place, I'm sorry. But back to what I was saying, so with the case worker, when she was telling me go ahead and withdraw and, go ahead and do your GED and, go ahead and go to college. You're a smart girl, just go ahead and do it, you can do it. I was like, I told Josh, like, I don't want to do it the right way, I want to go to prom. So I want to go to prom, I want to do this, But I didn't even do that anyway. So ended up leaving Liberty, right? I had like a couple credits to get, and I was like, you know what, I'm out of here. And enrolled in school, you know what I'm saying? Enrolled in JCTC, I enrolled in community college because, mind you, I hadn't taken any ACT or SAT or anything like that. I was like, I'm just going to go. You know what I'm saying? So I enrolled myself in school. Mind you, I was living on my own with both my children, and I was also working full time. I had my CNA, and I wanted to go into nursing. So I went and got my CNA because I knew the U of L, University of Louisville, I know that they prefer it, and I think most schools now are doing it, I'm not sure, but so I went and got my CNA, was working as a CNA at a nursing home, and enrolled myself in school. Because I was just tired. I was just going to work, coming home, same thing, over and over. It's like, what's it like, the little hamster on the wheel, and it wasn't enough money. I mean, it was good money, but it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I saw myself doing. So I enrolled myself into JCTC, and they told me, with you not having your high school diploma, you would have to go to get your GED. You had to show proof of this GED by September. Let me tell you. I said, what? I said, so I can get into this school. I ain't got no high school diploma. I ain't take no ACT, what'd it say? I ain't take no ACT, SAT, I would say STD, but SAT, but I can go into college, and all I gotta do is get this GED there. So I did my homework, so I called around, like, where do I go to get this GED? Because I'm on it. So, mind you, long story short, I went, you had to do like some tab tests or whatever just to show your prior knowledge to see if you need courses in order to sit for the GED before you sit for it. So I went to the tab, I think it's called tab, I don't know, I don't remember, it started with a T, but I probably should look that up for you, or you can look it up. But anyway, so I took the tab test or whatever it's called, and I passed it. They was like, you don't need to sit in no classes or anything, you ready to take the GED. I was like, say less. I was like, let's take this GED. I'm done with this. I'm ready. I'm already done with this. And I went, took my GED, passed it. I was like, okay, let's move on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? So I turned that into JCTC. I was already taking classes. So, you know, school started that fall in August, and I just brought my certificate to them in September, made sure I turned that thing in, and I was done. You know, I wasn't done, but I was done with that, you know. So I ended up starting school for nursing. This is crazy because I'm gonna try to keep this video short, so because, you know, I gotta get to my kids anyways. But, so, I'm gonna do a part 2. That's how I should do. But anyway, so I ended up going to school for nursing. That was what I was gonna say. Going to school for nursing. That's where I originally started out with, and because I was in the hospital with my son, and I was seeing everything that was going on, and I was intrigued by just that type of environment, and I wanted it. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to take my role and my place in that type of environment, and, you know, change people's lives or touch people's lives. And so started with nursing, and as you heard me say earlier, my bachelor's is in business administration and accounting, and I started school for nursing. I was 19. Yeah, I think I was 19. Yeah, I was 19 when I started college. So I told you I don't do anything traditional, and that just goes to show. So I'm gonna make a part 2 and kind of finish out talking about this topic and a little bit more, so you can have a full, you know, understanding of who I am, you know, where I've been so far, the things I've experienced. Maybe some of you all can relate. You know, so a lot of people didn't take the traditional route in life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us thought we were, and life can be funny. You know what I'm saying? It could be traumatic, but it could also be amazing. But it could also be so funny. I keep wanting to cuss on here. It also could be so funny, amusing, and that's the important thing, is that even when life doesn't work the way that you think it's going to, and it won't, not all the time. Some people are lucky enough that it does, but for most of us, it does not. And you always gotta remember that you always have to see the funny side, the bright side. You know, you can't dwell on, you know, the things that didn't work or the traumatic things. Those things do make you who you are. You know what I'm saying? They do give you that strength. You know, they do give you that perspective, that experience, you know, but you don't hold on to that stuff. You don't let that take control of you, and you don't give it your whole entire power. You build from it. I always say you turn your disadvantages into your advantages, because that's what they end up being, you know? So with that being said, I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to make the part 2 to this video in due time. So thank you, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you did like this video. Thanks.